Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis. Here with my lovely co-host, Phil. How are you doing today, Phil?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah.
Good. I'm just
Uh,
good.
it was sad.
Yeah.
It was
I don't
sad.
sad, but I'm just kind of sad.
Yeah.
If this is
Yeah.
your first time on Reality Realness, well, then welcome. We are very happy to have you. Please join us in the chat. We love talking to you guys about the episodes, and today we're talking about episode 4 of Rupaul's Drag Race UK. Overall thoughts, Phil?
Well, I'm sad. I get it. I actually do get it. I think I understand. But yeah, it sucks because I really like that character. There was at least a couple characters that did stuff this episode that I was like, you know what? I'm starting to really like these people. And before I had said I wasn't sure if I liked them. Now I'm starting to like them. So I'm like, oh, this is good. Good episode.
Yes, I mean, I think as a dramatic piece, it was a well-constructed episode. It had everything that I want. I laughed, I cried, I was angry, so I went through all the motions. So as an episode on a whole, it was excellent. But I just don't know if I like the outcome. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Titanic. It was like one of my favorite movies, but I didn't like the outcome. So it made me feel a type of way, but not necessarily, the way that I want to feel. But as a person that's like an emotional actor, I like that it took me to different places. So on a whole, it was an excellent episode, as has the whole season, in my opinion, been.
It's been wonderful. Surprise eliminations, I think, almost every round so far.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Like it seems as though even from day one, there's no, well, actually there is one, but there's pretty much no front runner other than Lawrence Chaney like in this competition.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be doing better each week. And what I love about the UK drag in general is they surprise me every week. I'm not necessarily know exactly what their aesthetic is going to look like. I don't know exactly what kind of silhouette they're going to be having. They're always changing it up and pushing the envelope. So that keeps it exciting for me personally as a viewer. So we start the episode with Tia coming back feeling quite confident, which I think she should. She lip-synced the lip-sync assassin basically out of the competition. She was definitely the surprise winner, not from the actual performance, but going into that, she was definitely going to be the underdog here, and it wasn't expected for her to come out on top, but she did, and she feels that she could do anything now that she beat Estina. Do you think she could do anything?
Yeah. Well, I think she could probably do more than she thought she could do. So I'll say it with a positive spin. She grew on me a little bit this episode. I thought she had some good moments, but she's going up, I think, in how well she can do in this contest.
As long as there's no more sewing challenges.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know where this came from or if I missed something in the previous week, so they just haven't shown it. But Ginny seems to not be really that happy with Lawrence. And they kind of had like that little mini spat in front of the mirror. Did you pick up how that started, why that started, where that came from?
The only thing that I remember, I think the first episode, there was something where Lawrence was talking too much and Ginny sort of tried to shut her up, and they both sort of like rubbed each other the wrong way from there. And I think we're seeing a storyline here that Lawrence likes to talk and likes to be the presence in the room, which I'm not surprised. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ginny likes to be the presence in the room sometimes too.
Yes. What it felt like in that moment, it seemed a little bit of older brother, younger brother vibe. Because Lawrence was just a little bit like, and like Ginny was rolling her eyes. So it seemed like that was the dynamic. but I just was like, I didn't remember. Like now that you pointed out, I remember the moment, but like I didn't remember that moment from, I think it was the first episode. And so I wonder if there was more things that had been happening that had been annoying Ginny, and this was the first time that they showed it because it's part of the storyline of how this episode was going to go down. That's kind of what
I think so. Yeah.
What I'm thinking there. So Tia, just wants to get rid of everyone now. And so she goes to the mirror and she's wiping the mirror and she's kind of saying like circular motions, and Ahura pipes in being like, at least we know how to clean up the handwriting from you. And I was like, okay, shots fired.
Don't give all your tips away.
How we're gonna write your message off? I was like shocked that because they always have their little spats in their reading and whatever. But I was like, and I think there was a little bit surprised that was said as well. So Ahura was still happy though that Estina was gone, because I think that she felt that Estina was probably a competition for her aesthetic wise, and like as like a more of a beauty queen as opposed to like some of the other queens are a little more quirky. So Ahura is happy that Estina's gone, even if she's not that impressed by Tia's drag.
Yeah. I think that they're shocked that she's gone. I think there's a couple that are shocked that she's gone, but I think that they probably would all agree with that they're kind of happy that Estina's gone, because that girl was competition.
Mm-hmm. Except though that people are calling her basic. Now, she is quite basic. And before she was kind of embracing it, why do you think now she's kind of irritated by it? Like I know Taste was that she needs to step it up and stuff like that, but what do you think?
I don't know, because like she said, oh, well, Michelle called me basic once. But I was like, yeah, but then there was that contest where they all voted for who was things, and they called you like the basic one of the group, like Duchess of Basic or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like I was like, no. I was like, no, they've told you this, that you're coming across basic. And like, I mean, her outfit, like, I mean, they did say you could do better. I don't know. We gotta.
I'm wondering why she like. Okay, if she's not basic, then why hasn't she stepped it up then? Like, even the look that she did, we didn't enjoy it specifically because of the color. She could have probably made it look a little more chic. If it was in pretty much any other color, she could have made that silhouette look a little bit better. But it was a very basic look. It was like a skirt and top sewn together with a bow in her hair. That's quite basic.
For drag.
For drag. Well, for anybody.
Yeah.
There's no adornments, there's no ruching, there's no there's no asymmetry. Like it's basic. It's a basic silhouette. So anyways, I don't know why she's getting all bent out of shape about this. I think it more so that people don't think that she's good. But I don't think it has to do with her being basic. I think that they just don't think that she's a good or competition anyways. So Veronica was standing up for her, and we've seen her stand up for her most weeks, definitely last week. And Veronica's standing up for herself. And I don't know what it is, but she started to rub me the wrong way at this moment. She had already, like, the tone in her voice last week was starting to already kind of annoy me. And then this week, again, I understand standing up for your friend, but there's a way that she does it, in my opinion, that has like a sense of condescension when she sends out like how people should be acting and reacting and speaking about people, but then she's not fully honoring it herself when she's saying that about the other person.
Yeah.
So she's kind of coming across as a hypocrite to me.
Yeah, I think actually a lot of that was coming from her own insecurities, and I think she knows that there's people around that group that think that she's not all that, because they said that when she came in, nobody knew who she was. And I mean, even that one challenge, she did well, but I don't think people think she deserves a badge already. Like, I don't think that they feel she's proven who she is yet to them. So and she probably feels it. So she's saying, let's not be mean to everybody, because I think she knows that some of them are putting that on her as well. She's one of the weaker.
I'm not. She was good in the Rats or whatever. Okay, but that's it. I'm done. Kind of from Gollum to Gorgeous is gone in my books. Like I'm not sold anymore. It was that one challenge, and this episode just started to reiterate the fact that she isn't all of that. And actually, we'll talk about it later. Yeah, I'll talk about that part later. About her performance has some things to say. So RuPaul comes in, and her little line is "Never let them see you swallow." And the crew comes out because they're going to be selling some cakes. It's going to be the Great British Bake Off. I couldn't write down what everybody did, but did you write down all of whatever?
No. No, I was like, what is this? What is happening? Why is this happening? I didn't get this challenge. I didn't really enjoy it.
Well, they're supposed to sell these pastries.
Yeah.
And in whatever manner that they want, but we know always the task is to make Rue laugh. So Tia does something with a cookie with the heart in it, and she faints and she crawls under the table. And I think Tay says that she's crawled under the table or crawled on the ground more times than she's been called basic, which is, I mean, if it works, just keep doing it if you are basic, right? Because a basic person wouldn't think of something new, they just go with it.
If Rue's laughing, do it.
Yeah.
If Rue's laughing. If she's not laughing, get up.
Yeah. Rue was laughing. Rue was laughing. Ellie was something about salt and a tart.
Yeah, salted tarts. I don't.
I thought Bimini was hilarious. I don't even know all the British humor about Brexit, but like she's selling it for me. Right now I'm crushing on her, Ahura, and Taste. Those would be like my girls, I think.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Bimini, well, remember I was saying that the first episode when Bimini was wearing like that bodysuit, that she reminded me of a friend of mine from like back in my raver club kid days in early 2000s. So my friend that I was talking to you about, she said the same thing to me. She's like, oh, she reminds me of so-and-so. So it was going on that it was our club kid circa early 2000 friend Becky.
Nice.
That's it to us. Ginny said something about a bit, not sure. Tace had the Viennese finger up her butt. Veronica had the rainbow cake. I don't know what she did. And I don't know who else I missed. Ahura talked about Bimini's bollocks. Lawrence, I think, was kind of upset. Was it Lawrence was saying that she shouldn't talk so much about somebody else's?
What, somebody else?
Is that Lawrence that said that?
Yeah. It's like, way to go. You're talking about somebody else's during your part. Like,
I did like Ahura's, though. I liked it. I mean, I know I have a soft spot for her, but it didn't bother me. There's some other people I didn't laugh at all. At least I thought it was like cheeky, no pun intended, and fun. And Lawrence she was kind of funny talking about like the chocolate eclairs. It looked like about chocolate. Like Rue was laughing quite a bit. I didn't laugh that much. I think I laughed the most at Bimini's. And Bimini was the winner of this challenge. So surprise. So she's.
I laughed the most at Bimini's as well. I thought Bimini's was the funniest. I was like, when Rue was laughing about Lawrence's one, I was like, it's funny, but it's not that funny. Like I don't know. So I'm worried for all these other queens because Rue seems to really have taken a liking to Lawrence, and I don't know. Lawrence can do no wrong, it seems.
No, I know. Oh my God, we're gonna get to that for sure. So then you get to pick the roles. I didn't hear what the name of the challenge was, but I guess it's just to do the Morning Glory, which is a morning show. Is going to be what? Their maxi challenge, yeah. And so. Yes. they all kind of had to do separate roles. And so I was kind of like in and out of like paying attention to how the roles were distributed. But it seems as though that Tia and Ahura are going to be working together. So I was like, uh-oh, is this good?
Yeah.
Or bad?
Some good shade. Some good shade from Ahura. Like, oh, I don't know. I'm gonna make her look better and stuff like that. Like, I was like, ooh, like she is not happy about this pairing. So.
But it is true, because what I think that Ahura does, she does have an aesthetic that is very fashion. She has an eye for what looks good. And I think that having somebody that's working with you, she's going to want you guys both to look good. And so I think she will have good advice on the aesthetic of Tia's appearance. And so I think it's actually going to be very positive for Tia. She might even get some like new ideas and new creativity on how she can present her drag in general. And then I think Tia being a little more free with the, you know, improv and like acting and being creative in that way, I think it would rub off on Ahura. So I actually was thinking, like, if they choose to allow themselves to be influenced by the other, they could do a really good job. So I was like, yes. This is a breaking moment here. This could be a winning team.
Yeah. This is really a really good move or a really big mistake. Like, and this could be like bad.
It could be really bad. So she would be a hippie weather reporter. That seems like a kind of a fun role. There's going to be two goths. I don't even know what they're presenting. The two goths were presenting Party Cake or something.
Yeah.
Which is going to be Veronica and Sister. Now, why did Veronica take this role when she wasn't even felt confident with being a goth? Did you see that?
So Veronica said, I wanted to wait to see everybody else pick their role, and I was just going to take what was left. So why? And how does that not rub the rest of the people the wrong way? Because she's basically saying, well, I can do anything and I'll prove it, so I'll just do it, right? That's what she's saying with that. And it's like, I don't think you did, but with the result, but you know, that's a bold move to say, I can do anything, so just give me whatever part. I don't care. It's kind of like you don't care. Like you don't care about the whole competition.
To me, like her doing that allows her to fail without it being her fault, right? Because if she's like, true. I can do that role and I can do it so well, like she did in the Rats musical, and then she doesn't do so well, it's kind of like a further fall. So if she's like, whatever, I'll do whatever, and then she's like, well, I didn't really get a role that like I was going to excel in for sure, she would always be able to fall back on that. And so I think it was just to, you know, allow her to fail without feeling like she was a failure. So I think it was calculated in that way because she didn't feel confident in any of the parts, I think, probably.
Yeah.
So the Scots are together again. When Rue was walking around the workroom here, there's a lot of really awkward moments. And weird. I think what Ellie was trying to do was saying, like, Rue loves Lawrence and always says her first and last name in a Scottish accent. And then when she just comes to Ellie, just says Ellie, just like kind of like a nobody.
Ellie Diamond, yeah.
I don't know if she says their last name. Does she say her last name usually?
No, not really. I think she just says Ellie to her. Like,
so I think that's what she wanted, but I think that it put Rue on the spot in a way that wasn't intentioned.
Yeah, it was a little awkward. Wow, like, I mean, if you're not basically saying if you're not listening to what you're saying, like, I mean, she's basically saying, why do you like Lawrence more than you like me?
Well, yes, that's really what's going on here. You know, both Scottish. Why do you say Lawrence Chinese last name and you don't say my last name?
Right.
Scottish accent. I'm Scottish too. That was a Scottish accent. Sorry. But it was awkward, and she's not funny to be able to pull that off.
No.
No.
it wasn't a joke. So it like they knew like she was being serious about like there's a problem here. Why are you not using Scottish to talk to me? Like what's going on? And it's like maybe you're not making an impact there, Ellie Diamond. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason.
And Rue didn't really, in my opinion, give a good response. But then why why do they keep that in the edit?
I think that the story that's starting to appear, which I think has been appearing since even episode 1, is Ellie's gonna get frustrated with always being in the shadow of Lawrence as the Scottish person. I think that like they both came through. Lawrence was upset that she wasn't the only Scottish person there, and then all of this. Lawrence every so often just edges Ellie out, and then they were against each other last week, and she beat her there and won the competition, and like it's a lot. I think that Ellie made a big mistake partnering with Lawrence again on this one. She needs to get away from Lawrence.
They need to be separate. I mean, I think for me, I think that Ellie paints better. I think if I'm just looking at her, I think that she even dresses better. But the problem is Rue wants to laugh, and Lawrence is just way funnier. She's funny.
Yeah, she's beautiful. Her outfits are amazing. The personality is just not coming through. And
not funny. Some people just
that's huge. She's young.
It's true. I was hilarious when I was young. I mean.
Okay, well.
Well, in terms of dating, not being funny would be a deal breaker for me. So, I can understand in this competition, if you're not making Rue laugh, it's kind of like, I don't really care that much for you. So I can see it being a bit of a barometer on how Rue judges. And Ellie needs to bring, like you said, her personality out more. So either she's going to at least fall in love with her personality, but right now she's just kind of like, as you said.
I think the biggest clue that Rue said there was when she said, "Oh, how come you don't do that?" She goes, "Well, I'm working on things for you. I haven't like we're trying things out. I'm working on things for you." It's almost like Rue saying, "I haven't had to say anything to you yet because like you haven't wowed me." Like.
Mm-hmm. Or no joke has emerged. You know what I mean? She's just kind of like, yeah, you look good. You did a good job.
Yeah.
There you go. So Tia and Ahura, they're going to be some Essex girls. They are money-saving experts. And what's really interesting about Essex girls is because I remember when I used to visit England when I was younger, I would hear all about Essex girls. And it's very interesting from my perception of what I thought an Essex girl was when I was 13, as opposed to how they are actually, or at least portrayed or are now. So they used to be kind of characterized as bimbos, like maybe prostitute type people. Like that's how there was always these Essex girls joke. And I remember the one joke. It might be offside. Please it's just a joke that I heard when I was 13. I just feel like I should tell it. I always think of whenever I hear Essex girls. And the joke is, Phil, how does an Essex girl turn on the light?
Oh gosh. How?
She opens the car door. She's always in the car having sex. Like, I don't know. Like, anyways, it was always like one joke / Essex girls joke / like, oh no, it's turn on the light after having sex. That's not it. Okay, this is a joke that I'm not retold this in 2 years, okay?
Wow. You made it even worse. You made it like that they don't do anything else but go in the car.
How do Essex girls turn on the light after having sex? They open the car door. Sorry, bad joke. It's like from 20 years ago. Like, I'm sorry to retell it. That's what I would think about when I thought about Essex girls, because those were the types of jokes that I was hearing about them when I was in London, like in the 90s, you know? Anyway, so I've watched The Only Way is Essex, at least the first 2 seasons. Have you seen the show?
No.
Okay, well, I'll get to some of it, which is, it's quite
All
funny.
right.
So Tia and Aurora are going to be Essex girls and they're money saving experts. And, you know, they also recognize that they can both help each other out, kind of like what I was saying before. And you were kind of agreeing with as well, that they have what the other needs. And so it's a very good potential for them to create something great. And so they both recognize that. And I was saying Aurora is going to make sure she looks great. So I think that is in a good spot to do well. I think.
I agree.
Okay, so do you know who Lorraine Kelly is?
She, I believe, is a talk show host. She's on Loose Women, I believe, or was on Loose Women, which is the equivalent to The View. It's like The View, but it's like The View mixed with like a morning show. So like it's similar in some ways to, I mean, it's mainly like The View. They come out and they talk about things, and then they have celebrities. But then every so often they'll do the cutaways to things as well. So, yeah. That's what I know her from.
I've never heard of her, but I can tell the type of talk show host she most likely would be.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like a good morning television show mixed with Beyonce, is what they were saying, for the slut shots that Taste and Bimini were going to be offering in their segment. What did you think of their actual segment when they went up there?
Wonderful. They both did great. Bimini, though, shined. Like the card upside down, the cutaways when it would cut to her in her face, and like she was just like this ditzy great person who I thought she did wonderful. I thought Taste, though, did wonderful too. I thought that they were a strong couple to do the lead. They did really good, and they looked good. They looked really good.
Totally agree. And I think what I like the most about Bimini is that she gives no Fs. No Fs given. She just does it. She goes full out. Doesn't apologize for what she does. And there's no editing. She's not worried about what she looks like. And I think that that's why she's doing so well now, is because of the fact that she's just so... She cares, but she doesn't care about how she looks, I think Taste is a little bit more Bimini in order to be a little bit better, because you could tell that she's a little bit edited. She makes sure that she looks good with what she's doing. It's not kind of messy, and you don't know what's going to happen. She's going to look gorgeous. She's going to be a little bit more controlled, which is fine. It's serving her well right now, but I think that she might have to loosen up a little bit in order to start really raising the bar for her drag in this competition.
Yeah.
But I love them both. They weren't my favorite duo, but they're my second favorite duo. So the party planners, they're making an anti-birthday cake, and all I wrote down was not funny, and in all capital letters, and I rarely ever write in capital letters the word cringe.
Yeah. It could have been really funny. Like the stuff that they had to put on the cake could have been funny. Like, I mean, the props actually were funny. There was at one point when like their segment was over, and then like I think it was Sister put the flowers into the blender. I was like, why didn't you do that when you were like on? Like that would have been fun, and have flowers flying all over the place. I mean, if you can't do anything, at least do some prop comedy or something.
They needed to just have worked something out. Because it seems as though Sister was waiting for Veronica to do lob her something so she can react. And Sister doesn't seem like someone that presents the new idea. So like in improv, you're just supposed to say yes to any instinct or anything. Someone lobs at you, you're supposed to say yes to it and go with it. But it seemed to me, from an improv perspective, that Veronica just was shutting down every single thing that that she was doing, and she just was like miserable and just kind of like a big no, and it wouldn't work with her.
Yeah, it wasn't miserable as in like the character doing the goth, like how it should have been, like miserable in that way. It was miserable in like it wasn't going anywhere. I mean, I don't really think Sister contributed all that much to it either. Like even tried to get in there. I thought Sister when it got to her part was maybe even worse. Like I thought the whole thing was awful. Like, and I didn't understand why Sister was blaming. I was like, you were both bad. Wake up. Like
from what I'm saying is that Sister can work off of somebody, but she can't be the one that starts it off. I don't think she has the chops or like the creativity just to get the ball rolling, you know. But she's probably a good partner once maybe, you know, they're juggling. Who was it in Canada's Drag Race that did something like this, where they just were just like a petulant child that was just kind of annoying and just like, meh. But like they could have done something really well with it. I just remember something similar where it's like they had a grumpy character, but they didn't do a good job with it. I can't remember. If you can't remember, I can't remember. Oh, thank you very much,
Thank you, Rod. Good job.
Oh, you.
He gets on there right when he needs to.
You just know it all. Thank you, Ron. You're right. It was Ilona. And I really liked Ilona, but I thought she could have done a lot better with the character that she's supposed to be giving off. And she didn't. So really, Veronica and Sister were terrible. And I just couldn't see anybody really being much worse than them.
No.
Well, so Lawrence and Ellie, I didn't really think that they were that great. I like that Lawrence is a good scene partner. She allowed Ellie to be painting her face. They're trying to remove the bitch face or something. There was a call-in. Michelle Visage called in and said that she has bitch face, resting bitch face, and needed to get rid of it. And so Ellie was painting Lawrence's face with like making like some very messy marks all over it. And then Lawrence rides a bike and breaks it.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this was the biggest thing that I noticed was, wow, Lawrence needs to come up for air and let Ellie talk. Because like it was like the Lawrence show. And it was like there was no time for Ellie until Ellie painted Lawrence, which again puts the spotlight on Lawrence. He gets to look the goofy person. And then the bike thing made no sense, and it just felt like it was like an extra look at me moment. I thought he was going to get called out for that because I thought it was a little too much. But I feel like there's going to be this story about everybody's going to get upset with Lawrence for the attention he's getting from Rue, but also for like stealing the spotlight from everybody. So and always talking. So. Yes. I don't know. I thought it was good, but Ellie, honestly, because even when she was painting, she wasn't really saying anything. So was she really contributing to that whole thing, except for putting paint on? Makeup.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel as though Lawrence, yes, needs to learn how to share. But I think though the issue with this particular pairing is the fact that Lawrence doesn't trust Ellie enough to do her part. So Lawrence is overcompensating because Ellie is not one that kind of stands up and like takes control of the scene and like is funny and has like all this creative expression, you know? And so I think Lawrence was feeling that she needed to do more to make up for the fact that Ellie didn't really offer that much. I'm sorry, Ellie, I think you're gorgeous, but you need to step it up personality-wise, Ellie.
And she needs to get away from Lawrence.
Wait, Ellie needs to step up her cat emoji. Step cat emoji up. Do you think she looks like a cat emoji? Is that what he's saying?
Her cat emoji. Oh, her pussy up.
Oh.
Her pussy up.
Is that
of course. Well, that's what they say, right? You better step your pussy up. On RuPaul.
That?
On RuPaul. That's one of his songs.
Yep.
It means you need to step up. You need to do more.
I understand what it means, but I don't think that that's been said.
Okay, Ron, what song is it? RuPaul's song is it? That he'll get
That's
back to
your
it.
pussy. I mean, have I been living under a rock? I'm like going to even Google this. Is that a thing?
It's at least a lyric in the song, but it's like one of the big lyrics in the song. So whatever the song is.
Let me find it. I don't know if I'm... Okay, maybe. Oh, girl, you gotta step your pussy up. Okay, fine. It is the line and step it up. Okay.
There's your title. That's your title for tonight's episode.
Oh my god, I'm gonna step your cat emoji up. I'm putting it in there. Step your cat emoji up. It's done. It's in. And then the I believe, was it the last group? No, it wasn't the last group. But comes up Tia and Ahura. And so I was smiling the entire time. I was like, I was hysterical when Ahura was like, oh my God, I love sparkles, because it was so right. It was so right.
It was so perfect. The voice, the sort of ditzy like voice that was with that was perfect. The look was wonderful. And even like the accent, everything she did there was fantastic, and I was really impressed. I thought she looked good too. Like, I mean, it was a good
really great. Okay, so yes, Ron, I did look it up quickly. Step it up on the song, step your pussy up. Ahura did not Bahora me anymore. Good. Okay, I called Ahura being good on the show from week one. And we were saying she just needs to grow because she's just being a bit of a child. But I saw the spark within her. I do. And so the thing though with Ahura, so their whole thing was like about these old crystals and stuff like that, and they're taping it around her crotch area. So on, I think it was season 1 or 2 of The Only Way is Essex, Amy Childs, I think it was, goes and gets bejazzled. And so basically in like her bikini, like as if she's wearing underwear, her bikini area has like a little triangle of rhinestones that they glued on. And so that was called get bejazzled. And so that was this whole take on what this was happening. And it was even referenced by the judge at the end saying, he mentioned something about the bejazzled era. So that if you hadn't seen that episode, that's what it was alluding to.
No. It's always, apparently women like to treat themselves in bejazzled now. It's a big thing now. It's great. I don't know if you want to put cement rocks on like they were doing.
Yeah, you don't know what you like. People like different things. It was Gemma Collins, Ron. Hold on. Before we go back to CJ, it was Gemma Collins. It wasn't Amy Childs that did it first. Are you sure? Like 2006 or so?
I don't know. Oh, 2006, yeah.
Anyways, Gemma Collins very well could have done it as well.
I'm sure Gemma Collins at least stole it because she would do it. Gemma Collins would do that.
I really thought it was Amy Childs, though. Or maybe it was both of them because they could have been on the first season together. Hold on. Childs, bejazzle. Yeah. Amy Childs explains she's the bejazzle queen, exactly, because she was the beautician that brought bejazzling trend to the masses. So Amy was the bejazzler, and maybe Amy
Gemma Collins was a bejazzle.
She was bejazzled by Amy Childs. Amy Child was the artist that bedazzled the vaginas of Gemma Collins. We're both right, Ron. And that they thought that they were the best ones, that Tia would outshine Ahura, but it was the other way around. I did think that Ahura outshined Tia. And I think also, I just wish that Ahura's wig was a better color blonde. there was something about her blonde wig that took me out of them being these Essex girls, and it just seemed a little bit cheap to me. Go ahead.
The only thing that took me out of it was her breastplate, or you could see the bottom part, like because her shirt opened up and you could see like it coming off of her skin. So I was like, oh, that took you out of it as well. But
for Tia or for Ahura?
That was Ahura.
I mean,
towards the end, after she was like jumping up and down, it sort of came out. So it's like, oh,
I was finding that funny, particularly because it just out of sorts and boobs all over the place, and she's just sparkles.
She's a mess.
Just a mess. So Ron says maybe Reality really should give away a gift card for Bedazzling. I don't know if
That's going to get us some subscribers.
Hold on, let's see. I should put it in here that if you subscribe, you get a
669 subscribers, and you get.
I'm almost there, but 640. Yes, it's happening. So yes, please subscribe, and I'm going to find a way to see if there's anybody that does Bedazzling in Toronto in times of COVID.
There we go. That's a podcast right there.
That is. It's going to be on the list. Christmas wish list for next year. I thought they were so funny, though, regardless of, me nitpicking with not liking the wig color or after them being all out of sorts, her breastplate showing. Right. I thought they were excellent. I thought that they deserved the win at this point. I was like, they were thumbs up to me. And I was hoping that they were both going to be on the top. So Ginny was definitely, I thought she was funny. I was all smiles when I was watching her. She's very endearing to me. I like that she's kind of going into this a little bit more glamour version of herself.
Yeah.
A little more feminine as opposed to, I don't know, asexual or like not non-binary. Like, I don't know, like right now she's like embracing a little bit more of the feminine side of things. And so I'm liking seeing this expression from her. But I do feel as though she could have gone a little bit further with the jokes,
Yeah, I felt it's tough because I don't know. It felt so edited at that point. Like it felt like it was like we only saw a blip of what it was. People were laughing. So, but I think it was kind of like, well, what was that? That didn't make any sense. So if that was what it was, then I can understand why they didn't like it because, I mean, nobody understood what it was. It was crazy and funny and everything, but it wasn't, there was no weather talk in it. There should, like, if she had done those crazy stuff and like explained like, oh, it's raining cats and dogs and like been like, then have them attack her or something more, or play with them and then talk about I don't know. It just felt like it went so fast.
Yeah. Yes. And I think the judges mentioned this, and I agree with them, that if she was telling the weather more, I think the jokes would have landed better. So if she was like, the wind's coming, and she's like, and it's windy today, and then the cats are hitting her in the face, and it's raining cats, like, it would have been funnier, I think, if she was trying to be the straight man with all these ridiculous things happening to her and already dressed up kind of like a hippie. So if she stayed really true to both of those characters without playing the props, I think she would have been more successful in, how that characterized came to life. So she had some good material. I think she needed a little bit more work, maybe a little bit more time with it. She might have done a little bit better, but I still was very endeared to her. Like, I really wanted her to do well. I was still smiling. I was still curious what she's going to do next. So I think that she did better than the judges gave her credit for, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
So I liked Tia and Ahura the most. Did you? Ron loved Ahura just acting a fool.
I like Bimini though. I did like Bimini as well. So I will throw that.
These were the top duo, and then I would say Bimini and Case would be my second favorite. I still liked Ahura more than Bimini, but it could be because Ahura came out of her shell. Even like saying here, it's an endearing quality to see someone just go for it. Yes, and she really did. It's the no editing thing. I expect that from Bimini because she gives no fucks. But from Ahura, she's very edited and she's very reserved. And so to see her kind of break through that, I'm giving her extra appreciation and working with somebody that she doesn't particularly enjoy at that point. So I'm giving it to Ahura here. Ahura and Tia. They were my faves. Sister, though, seems to have a lot to say about her partnership with Veronica, saying something to the effect of, I was dealt a shitty card, and that shitty card is called Veronica. Excuse me. You said it already, that, like, she didn't really offer anything herself.
No, and I mean, she picked that character, whereas Veronica didn't even pick it. So she should have had a plan in her head when she read that script. She said, "I want to be that character." She should have had a plan for it, and there was nothing from Sister in that. That she wore a red wig, which really, if you're doing goth, you should have wore a white wig, like. I don't know.
I mean, redheaded goth is kind of in. It's not necessarily that color red, though. But I don't mind hair color. I mind people being boring and not funny and then blaming the other person. Because at least Lawrence tries to save the day. So, her partner wasn't offering any, so she offered twice as much. Yeah, maybe it's not great for back and forth, but at least she was doing something. Sister didn't offer anything and just was annoyed that her partner wasn't good at what she was doing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You be better, sister? I don't know. I wasn't happy about it. But I was happy that Ahura felt as though this was the first time that she let go. And so I was like, yes, she's getting it. She's getting it. She's growing. She's going to become a better drag queen no matter what after this experience, which is something that I enjoy about the show, is seeing people's growth. And so the growth arc is coming. I don't know if she might be a front runner eventually if she keeps going in this trajectory.
Oh, yeah. So are we at the part where they were talking, Tia and Ahura?
Sure. Yeah.
Why not?
You can.
I thought that was a really great moment. I thought it was really cool to see Ahura sort of do a self-evaluation of herself and know what type of person she is. I mean, she's quite young. And for her to say, like, I treat people badly to put up that wall because I've always been that having to act, I can't act myself around people, or I'm the one that's like put down for the way I am in my family and my group and all this because I'm a little bit different. And it's like, you know what? I kind of get it. Like, I mean, I think there's a lot of gay guys that would understand that world. And I think it was actually kind of nice to hear. And you kind of saw why she was with some of the other queens doing that. And it wasn't that she was insecure, but I think she might have some trust issues with people. And it's nice to see her dropping her wall down. And actually, I think she, in some ways, was like almost like a good drag sister to Tia. Like, I mean, I think that they've actually built something there, which is kind of cool. And I think Tia needed it.
Absolutely. And, Ahura was talking about how she critiques herself so harshly before she goes out on the stage so that she'll be Teflon with whatever the judges are going to be able to say to her. And, Tia mentions that she's kind of a caricature of a cartoon villain, but we start learning that she does really have a heart of gold in there that she's just really scared to share with anybody because she's always been by herself fending for herself. Like, I'm like getting all teared up again. I cried in this episode because she was crying, and I understand what she must have been feeling, like always not having any friends in the drag community or in her life that are supportive of what she's doing. She even mentioned last week or the week before about, not allowed to be a fashion designer and a drag queen. And so I feel like she feels so alone, and she critiques herself so much that that's the mask that she puts on, and that's the Teflon that she puts in faces with everybody. So I really, really appreciated that she, for me, seemed honest and vulnerable, and she admitted to everything that she said about Tia to Tia. I feel like Tia did accept what she said and understood where she was coming from, and took the apology as sincere. And I agree. I think that it is possible for them to have a probably great friendship outside of the game. I think Tia said, "Are we besties now?" And she's like, "Close." But I think she would allow Tia to become a bestie of hers. I could see this being the beginning of something, friendship wise.
Yeah, I like that they were both honest about what they had said, because before, and this was part of the reason why I was like, oh, I think we got a villain here with Ahura, it was a lot of behind the back. But the fact that she stepped up and said what she said and how she was feeling and why she was feeling certain ways, and she didn't back down. That was her feelings on it. And said it to Tia, and then Tia said, "Well, you know what? I thought you were just going to be this nasty bitch character," and and it's they're talking and they get it out. You let it out, and yeah, I think they are going to be seen as some of the stronger queens by the end of this whole thing.
Yes, and I think that since Ahura said that she doesn't have any friends, I think that she has made a friend in Tia, and this is just the beginning of it. Sometimes when you go through these big experiences, these shows, the friends that you make in there, they become lifelong. You've gone through something, you experienced something. And I feel like this episode was a huge growth experience for Ahura, that Tia was the mirror for her to be able to experience this transformation within her, that I can't imagine her not wanting to keep that in her life. And so I really do feel like it's the beginning of a real strong friendship. So I'm very, very happy that things went down this way. I'm pleased as punch. So before that, Veronica was saying that she does feel like she let Sister down, and Sister pipes in, "You kind of did." My gosh.
Right?
I was
I would have been I would have shot back at her and just and then what sucked was then through the rest of the whole thing, Veronica just kept taking the blame for the whole thing, and I was like, "Girl, it wasn't just your fault."
CJ says, "I just got boring Halloween special than I did goth at all." Yeah, I didn't bring goth to me. I don't even know how to do goth anymore. I don't know how to do goth, really. Goth is a hard one, I feel. It's just a look. I don't know what their mood is like in the 2020s,
Yeah, I mean,
fail when they talk.
In England, I mean, in some ways, it was more grungy and stuff like that. I don't know.
Safety pin nose piercings. I'm not sure what I need, but I find that people usually fail when they try to do goth. I don't know what's not landing.
Maybe a mohawk?
Maybe is that person? Where's the line between punk and goth? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's just I think that from now on, people going on RuPaul's Drag Race, if you're going to do goth, please research goth beforehand, or just don't.
Don't do the goth role.
Who wants to be out? Who do we want out? Make her do the goth role. What about Taste, though? With Ahura?
Oh, for Ahura.
I think Taste likes Ahura, and vice versa. I think they have a little romantic fling. I don't know if they're. I think though that Tia could be a better friend though to Ahura. I think that they could be a good friendship. I don't know. I think that Ahura's changed. I think she's changed. Changing. I think she's different though. Different.
The transformation almost complete.
Almost by the end of the season. I feel like she's going to the end though. So sister is having mirror talk though, about holding back and not allowing herself to, fully express herself and being edited, which I've been saying is like, what is the kiss of death for improv challenges is to edit and hold yourself back. And she's talking about this with Ginny, and Ginny's also, she's so down on herself all the time, and I think that she's so great. I don't know. What do you think of this mirror moment?
It was nice that she got up and was like, I need you here, and you're something. I know that you're funny and you make people laugh, and people like what you do, and it's nice to see. I mean, we haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's there. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't even clue in at that point that I was like, oh, that was shown to us for a reason. But yeah, it was. I actually thought that, oh, this is kind of we're saying goodbye to sister here.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, the kiss of death mirror talk. And I was thinking when Tia and Ahura were having their mirror talk, I was like, oh, they're going to both be on top. That's what I was thinking with their mirror talk. And then I thought that, ooh, this is Sister's last song. But things are a little bit different than we thought. So I wrote a second time in all caps, the look on Rue on that runway. She looked amazing again with that aqua blue asymmetrical number and that white blonde hair.
And makeup, great makeup too tonight.
Great. But is it? Did we look and see if it's Ravens doing her makeup in the UK? I'm gonna look at the credits next time.
Yeah. Somebody commented, didn't they, last time, and they said that it is the same person doing
we talked about the dress thing, the wardrobe person, the design.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so I don't know about the makeup if it's the same one.
Well, it's usually Raven in the US. Anyways, she looked so. That's I'm like, that's an outfit that I want. I don't care where I'm wearing that to the grocery store with my mask on. It was so good. I loved that outfit. So their runway looks for this evening is going to be a monster mashup. Now, I'm curious what you think as to why they have this type of competition for the UK, but they don't really seem to do this type of runway in the US. Do you have any theories?
Well, they did do a couple seasons ago. They did do was it Night of the Living Dead or something was the theme or something like that. They've had a couple similar ones, but they haven't had this one where it's a mix up of two different looks mashed together, and it being a monster one. I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool idea, and I actually was kind of impressed with some of them. Even if the look didn't look good, I liked the idea that they came up with for the people. It was season 11.
I don't remember that. That's too long ago. I have so many shows in the brain. I can't remember that.
It was the one. I think maybe Ariel went home that one because she looked like a pretty mermaid. She didn't look like a monster. Ariel, I think that's who might have went home that one. For some reason, I remember that she didn't have a monster look. So they said you look like a mermaid.
Almost. I remember Ariel. So, and maybe that's the only look that I can think of her in is probably the look she went out in. So
I think CJ's on it, so maybe he'll remember who went home that one.
All right, CJ. So the looks were okay. So Veronica was pig skin and snake skin. Sister was kind of like a mummy with a blue ponytail and tail. Bimini was a Playboy bunny mixed with the devil. Taste was Bride of Frankenstein. Ginny was a toxic bitter lemon. Lawrence all I put was that Lawrence had a face on his arm. Ellie was a green troll, and Tia was Medusa slash skeleton voodoo princess, and Ahura was Elvira in Vegas zombie styles.
Yes.
So just give me like the brief one-overs, and then we'll go deeper into them with the judges. But Veronica, Sister, Bimini, Jiminy, Lawrence, and Ahura are the tops and bottoms of the week. Taste, Ellie, and Tia are all safe. Did you agree with those immediate divisions?
Yeah.
Okay, CJ, thank you. You're kind of. The only reason why I was asking though is because I feel as though she has more confidence in the UK queens to pull this off. We don't see that many times where she stretches the US queens to do something really super creative, or like prosthetics, or like, you know, mixing things up. Like I feel like it seems like she's harder on the UK queens with her briefs of what she wants them to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this one, the looks were pretty much. I can't really remember a lot about that Monster Ball one from there, but I think that the looks from the UK one for this challenge were better.
Oh yeah,
but I mean, I just saw them, so maybe if I put them against each other, I don't know. But I do think Tace, I agree, safe. I wasn't a huge fan of Tace's monster look, but I didn't think it was bad. But it wasn't like oh, that was amazing. Ellie could have been in the bottom 3. I think she probably her look was okay. And then who was the other safe queen? Oh, Tia.
Yeah.
Tia. Yeah, actually, I like Tia's look. I thought for Tia, I thought that was the different kind of look there. The Egyptian one. So I think Tia could have stuck into that 3rd spot in the top, but she was probably number 4. So I would think so. So I think she was close to being up there in the top. The tops, I definitely. Actually, no. I would have put Tia up there because I wouldn't have put Lawrence, because I personally did not feel that Lawrence. I thought Lawrence was going to get called out for how he was acting.
CJ thinks that Tia should be on the top, and I do too.
Yeah.
I thought that Tia's look, for us to be calling her basic and saying that she never really does, that she needs to step it up. I thought the look that she did step it up. I wouldn't be like, oh, that's a boring Tia look. I was like, wow, like she put in some work, and there was a lot of effort that went into that look. And I personally, I don't know if I wasn't watching on HD, but like I wasn't impressed by Lawrence's look on the runway. I didn't think it was that impressive. I thought it was interesting seeing her face on her arm. That interested me, but I didn't see whatever was clamped onto her boob. Like she didn't look like a monster to me. I thought it looked a little bit crafty. I wasn't really. Oh, sweet. CJ likes Lawrence's look. So CJ's favorites are Veronica, Lawrence, and Tia. I didn't care for Veronica's look, really. I liked Tace's more than you did. I liked Ahura's, obviously. I liked Tia's for sure. And I liked Bimini's. Yeah. It was kind of simple, but I thought it looked good.
Yeah, I liked Bimini's look, and I liked Ahura's look. And yeah, I mean, Lawrence had an okay look. Tia did. They weren't bad. I actually thought I was kind of surprised about Ellie's look, because Ellie's usually really good on the runway. For Ellie, I didn't think that look was the best for her this time. Like,
I'm just agreeing with you, Tia or CJ. Tia did better in the challenge, I felt, than Lawrence, and so I do think that they should have swapped positions, and Tia should have been up top, and then it would have allowed, in my opinion, the rightful winner of this challenge. But you know, things don't always go our way at all. Okay, so for Veronica, they wanted it to be more goth. Obviously, we were talking about she just didn't go far enough with that character.
Yeah.
She definitely was in her head about it. And yes, her monster was good, but I think that she kind of put a sour taste in my mouth for her personally, and so I'm not really rooting for her anymore. What about you?
I thought that her makeup and the pig look that she did was actually really good. I will give her credit for that. I thought that was really good. The dress I didn't quite like as much. It kind of felt like she had already wore that dress. Like I don't know, because she's worn green before, and I just the dress itself wasn't like wow to me, but the way that she made her face look and everything, I thought that was really well done. So
Wait, so CJ, what are you disagreeing with? With me thinking that Tia did better than Lawrence?
no, I think the Veronica. I think you said the Veronica thing, and then he wrote, "Oh, I disagree."
I mean, I think it's because I'm not rooting for Veronica anymore. She rubbed me the wrong way, so I might not be seeing her through a lens that's favorable. So I think that it was definitely very cool that she put on the pig nose, and it was creative, and like that huge kind of Medusa. Was it Medusa? Like she had all that hair thing.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. But I think because I didn't like her, I don't like her right now. I didn't enjoy it that much. But it could be because I'm tainted. I'm jaded now. And so my bias is not lending for me to enjoy her that much. Sorry. Sister. I mean, I felt that she was just looked like a mummy with a blue ponytail. You couldn't really see the makeup. I think I would have been more interested if like maybe her whole face was like I don't know, bloodied, and like kind of like how a horror when she took off her hair, the brain was underneath, like maybe something with her face, because she looked like honestly she was wearing like gauze and had a ponytail and like had like lipstick on and some eye makeup. You know what I mean? It just for me it seemed.
Yeah, I think she needed to go more the whatever was underneath the bandages. I think if she had made that more prominent in what her outfit was, and that the bandages were just like coming off or something, yeah, they were right. They called her out. Like, I mean, she was just basically wrapped up in bandages, and really whatever she had underneath didn't really matter because it wasn't anything that we really saw too much. So,
and yeah, you could be like, that could be anybody. I couldn't tell that it was sister. I couldn't tell that it was a drag look. I couldn't tell whether I couldn't tell anything about it. It was just kind of, it was weak. It was really weak. Really, really, really weak. So yeah, at this point I was like, oh, it looks like Veronica and Bimini are going to be in the bottom here. You know, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Which would have made sense, right? Because like, usually there's a larger part that is put on whatever the challenge was for the week. And, you know, unless the challenge is the runway itself. But so their challenge was really bad and they didn't deliver. At least sister didn't deliver on the thing. So it's like, yeah, these two are in trouble. So
CJ says Lawrence was really good in the challenge. She was a morning show talk show host and it was funny. Yes, she was funny. I just don't think that her runway was that impressive. It didn't scream monster to me. It was okay. Sister was definitely a boot for me. Was she supposed to be a werewolf too? Because I did not get that at all. Was she? I don't think so.
They did say what it was.
Tail. That like blue.
She had a tail. Yeah, which would be wolf. I don't know. I got furry. Like so I wasn't quite sure what was under there for sure.
So the critique for Jimmy, she was an Aussie caftan wearing weather girl, but they felt it was one note, and we kind of talked about that a little bit, being that like it didn't go anywhere. There wasn't like a beginning, middle, and end. There was no story within what happened. I think she could have, within improv, you could still have some beats that you want to hit without knowing how it's going to go down or scripting exactly what you're going to say. But you can know that in the beginning, you could be trying to not notice the weather, and then it progressively gets bigger, bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden, like, you're in like an actual hurricane or whatever it is. But there was just no growth in the storyline. I think that it was a little bit to her detriment that she was by herself, because she didn't really have anybody else to bounce ideas off of. So I felt, had a little bit more challenging of a role, but she chose it. So I wish that she nailed it. I wish. They're calling her out on not having a heel, and she said that she had fibromyalgia, and so it's kind of like a chronic pain in the body that there's no specific cause. So this is the first time we're hearing about the fibromyalgia. What do you think about her response to the judges at that moment? When do you think she decided what she was going to do at the end of this episode?
I think the moment she got the critique before she went to the back, I think the moment she got the critique, I think improv, I think because she is that campy comedy queen, I think the fact that they did not like it, I think she shut down. And I think, I wonder, last week they really pushed this whole, we want you to do this with your look. And I think she tried it and did it, and that's great. But I think that, and then hearing that they didn't get her improv and it was one note, probably made her go, I don't think that they get who Ginny Lemon is, and I don't think that's coming across, and I don't think that they get me when they're getting Lawrence winning challenges and they're getting which I think Lawrence has deserved. But, I think in Ginny's mind, she's like, well, I'm a funny queen too when they don't get me. And so I think she got sabotaged. She sabotaged herself, got into her head. And I think at that moment she was like, well, if I have to lip sync, I don't want to. I'm going to make a statement. So.
Mm-hmm. Lawrence came up. I don't remember what their critiques were for her.
They were all good. How funny, how he should have a talk show. They really liked him in the talk show, and then they loved the thing. They loved the mask, the outfit. They thought it looked really good. They liked the blood being with rhinestones in the blood. I get the look. I'm okay with him being in the top 3, but I don't think he was the best.
Mm-hmm.
For the whole challenge. In the challenge, I don't think he was the best, and I don't think that the runway was the best runway.
Mm-hmm. Ahura, they didn't love her runway, even though I thought her runway was amazing. And wait, what? Hold on.
Oh, can I not like that? I know.
Runway.
They did like.
How can you not like that? I thought it was boring. I wasn't wowed by it. I don't think it was bad, but I just wasn't wowed personally. I was like, Lawrence is one of the people that I want to like everything that they do. And I didn't particularly like her runway this week. I don't know. But you're right, though. They did love Veronica's runway, so I think that that's what saved her, is that her look was one of the stronger looks, 100%. But I'm not feeling her right now. Not so much. So, back in Untucked, though. Sorry, let's go back to Ahura. Sorry. So they didn't really care for her whole look. They thought it was a little bit expected. I thought her outfit was pretty amazing. I thought she looked great. And I thought it was really cool that she had a sparkled, but kind of bloody brain underneath her wig. I thought that was a nice touch. I thought it was we're always saying don't remove your wig, or else you're gonna go home. And I was able to remove her wig and stay, so I was happy about that. And so, yeah, I feel like they were harder on her than they needed to be. I thought she did better than they gave her credit for.
I do think some of that was, though, they I think they were getting to the compliment. I think when she came out, they were like, we didn't think she understood what the challenge was. And then when the brain came out, then she's like, oh, okay, she gets what the challenge is. Because she said that she was doing Elvira and was it a zombie? Elvira and a zombie. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I thought she was like a mistress of the night, like Elvira. That's what Elvira's tagline is, and so I thought she did a good job there. Again, you also have to look at the challenge on here, and I did think that Ahora's probably deserved that win. If not her, I would have given it to Bimini before I gave it to Lawrence.
Wow, see. So thanks for clarifying, CJ. CJ's just messing. He's a horror movie fan, so that is why he appreciates it more. What movie was she referencing, though? I don't.
Oh, like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right?
Oh, okay.
So where they wear the skin and. Yeah.
Hey, Dee, thanks for coming to hang out. I should be coming over and stopping on yours for The Masked Dancer, but I haven't watched more than half of the first episode. So I will come and visit you soon for sure. And maybe I'll come and check out your Drag Race US podcast as well. But thanks for being here, Dee. Thank you. Untucked. So even Tia said that Veronica wasn't very good. They were able to drag that out of poor Tia, that like she didn't feel like her best friend or best friend in the competition did that well. But it's true. And she felt that she did the worst. Because I think she did the worst, especially from expectation and in general. She fell from farther, Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. My gut tells me I actually feel Sister Sister did the worst, because Sister Sister, this is what Sister Sister says she does. Like she says that this is the type of queen she is, and if that's the case, she dropped the ball because she did in her part she didn't do well, and she didn't get that improv to work. So
you're right. Sister Sister did do the worst. I think that Veronica did the worst in the acting part of the challenge. I think she was worse than Sister Sister there. I think she was better than her and Ginny on the runway. So I guess the placement does make sense. Veronica's runway did save her for sure from being in the bottom anyways. And poor Ginny, she was upset. She just was kind of sitting there saying that she got some positive, but she's only harping really on the negative comments that she received. And I don't even think that they were that cruel to her. They kind of just, they said one note, but like, as an actor, like that's something that you just need to like be like, oh, okay, like one note needs it. Like I need more dynamics. Yeah. I need to have more thoughts, more impulses. Like it doesn't mean that you're boring. It means that you just didn't show enough of you. You know what I mean? So I wish that she took it more as a critique as opposed to a critique in her like soul. And I think that was when she really started to feel down. So they came out to the runway, and basically they give Lawrence the win, which I thought that she was in the third place. She looked shocked. She actually looked shocked this week. Like last week she faked shocked when she was standing beside Ellie, and then this week I think she was actually shocked, because I think really she felt that somebody else was better than her. What do you think about her shocked reaction?
The main thing that I thought was, wow, these girls need to look out, because Rue really likes her. Like, Rue, like it's coming across. Rue, no matter what, like, I mean, she did well in the whole thing, but you really can feel Rue likes Lawrence, and that's going to be hard to take out of Rue's mind. You've got to really step up now, because he's got a favorite, I think.
You're so right, CJ. It was hard for me to take Veronica seriously, and Tuck with the pig face. And also when she was like, "Don't make the same mistake again, underestimating me," and I was just like, "Okay, Veronica, like you're on my who cares list." I'm sure you're loving it. Don't make the mistake again. Anyways, Lawrence wins. Lawrence, Bimini, and Ahura were all the top three. They go to the back of the stage, and I was like, no, it's Ginny and Sister. And I was worried that Ginny wasn't going to dance enough to be able to beat Sister. Not that Sister wasn't great dancer, but I felt as though Sister would try harder. And I was right, because Ginny actually just walked off the stage. I was hoping that she had, was going to come down on a harness down to the middle of the stage or something, that she had something worked out, like with the stage manager or something. But no, she actually left. And Sister,
Yeah.
What were you thinking during this moment?
Well, I mean, I said at the beginning of this, I mean, Ginny's been somebody that I really have enjoyed. I like the character. I love Camp Queens. I think that they make my heart go when I go to drag shows. I really like the ones that have the comedy and are okay with making themselves look silly and do stuff. They're usually quite smart. I think Ginny fits all of that, and I think Ginny unfortunately got herself into a bad spot and made a decision. She left on her good on how she wanted to. They said she left like a Ben de la Creme. I think it's probably
I hated when
different.
Left.
Yeah,
so angry.
I didn't for 1 second feel like angry that she left, or be, because like I've heard people are like, well, she took a spot from somebody else if she wasn't going to try, and I'm like, yeah, but I think she went into this thinking that she would try and do well, and I think she got lost in this whole they don't get who I am.
I also think, though, that she didn't want to compete against her friend as well. I think that also might have played a little bit.
And that in that case, if that was the sole reason, then I don't really like that she left, because
combo.
Yeah, because you go in there knowing that you might have to go, because I mean, straight community is pretty close and they do know each other. You go in there probably knowing at least one person, so you're going to go against people. But it could also be she knew Sister was on a down moment just before it, and all that. So
DJ says, I don't want to come down on Ginny, but I think it's disrespectful to the competition, even if that wasn't her intention. That's
understandable. Yeah, that's understandable
for sure. I really wish that she had just danced. I really wish she just didn't walk off, even if she didn't want to put her whole heart in it. I think it's also a little bit disrespectful to her friend Sister to not at least be there on the stage with her and dance. I don't know. I agree with you, CJ.
Yeah.
I think that she should have stayed out and danced. I never like a quitter, even if you have the best reasons. I wish that she just had let it play out then. You know what I mean? Instead of just walking out.
Yeah.
Hated it.
And I don't know how she would have done in a thing. Maybe she knew.
Hanging on. I don't know. I can see her doing things and just being silly.
That's a silly song. You can make that campy.
What's it going to do with it? Because I was like, oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe she didn't practice something.
That's true too. Maybe she didn't practice. So there's a lot of different things, and I think what I'm going to take is I enjoyed her this episode. I didn't understand the end. I'm going to try and follow Ginny Lemon and find out what else she does, because I think that she's an interesting character, and it didn't work for this show for her. So
I think she could have still done well, because I thought she was in with the critiques. I thought she was taking it in and was still slowly starting to kind of transform a little bit, and maybe they were getting lost in it. And so I think
the biggest thing I'm upset about, though, is now we have to have another week with Sister, and I'm sorry, and that sounds nasty, but she hasn't done anything yet. There's nothing. I know you're all upset with Veronica, but I'm just I don't get Sister, and I don't get what she is, and I'm still not getting it. And that dance, Ginny probably could have beat her.
I mean, she didn't have to dance beside anybody else, so she's going to probably win. So have to pull it all out, you know. CJ would swap Tia for Bimini in the top 3. I would swap out. I know Chainsaw Massacre or whatever. I haven't seen the movie. I would swap out Lawrence for Tia.
Yeah.
Because
and I'll say because Bimini's look wasn't the best on there completely, but for what the challenge was, I thought Bimini actually was either first or second with Ahura. I thought Bimini did a really good job as a host. So
CJ agrees. Thank you. She should just let sister show her up and let Rue eliminate her. Yes, I think that would have been the respectful thing to do. Walking off the stage is rude. Rude, like Astina would say.
But will be remembered. Will be remembered.
Twitter. I hated when Ben Locrem did that. Yeah. My front runner. Like, I just, if you don't want to be there anymore, don't quit during the week. Don't quit on the stage.
Yeah.
Like in Big Brother, don't vote me out. Like, no, quit during the week. I don't want you part of my team anymore. Get out. Like, and I'm only saying this as a competition part. I don't know what you're going on with your mental health or whatnot. So there could be other extenuating factors that I'm not aware of. But just from what I'm seeing on the show as like a competition, there's no excuse to me. Because like definitely people would give pretty much anything to be there, including, as CJ mentions, the eliminated queens.
Yeah.
Like Astina would do anything to be there right now.
Yeah.
CJ prefers Veronica over Sister. Ginny definitely would have beat her. I prefer Veronica over Sister-ish. I think she's a better drag queen, in my opinion, than Sister. But I'm just not vibing with Veronica's vibe. With her personality, it's not really sitting with me. Sister, she's just kind of.
No, and hey, I go with the wind. If Sister does something that really impresses me, you know me, because I'm saying stuff about people who I said, they haven't done anything yet. I will change my tune if she does. But so far, 5 episodes in or 4 episodes in, I don't understand what Sister does.
Mm-hmm. I hate it that much more when Good Queen self-eliminated. Joe Black, yes. I want to see what Joe Black would have been doing with all these different competitions. Like, I think that he has such a creative aesthetic. Like, he wouldn't ever quit. Like, maybe
he was just an interesting character. Yes. I mean, the way he would talk, he was so theatrical. I mean, you don't run into these people. What would he have been like?
Yeah. Well, that's all I really have to say about the episode. What was the preview for the next week?
COVID.
Oh, right. I remember being like, what's happening? Okay, so it's going to go COVID episode and everybody goes home and then start doing competitions from home. Do you think it's going to happen?
I believe what happened, because I think I did hear what happened, is well, I don't think this is really a spoiler, because honestly, the first act of the next episode is going to be they come in, they'll talk about Ginny leaving. Rue will come up and say the COVID thing happened. We're going to take a break, and then like I think it was like 2 months later they all got back together again and continued recording. I think that was it.
Okay,
it was a break. I do think something happens with that, though. There is something that might happen there, but I won't spoil that.
Okay. Well, that's all I got for this episode. I mean, still enjoying it. I'm very sad that Ginny had to leave in this way. As CJ says, Good Queen self-eliminating. You're just like, no, you can do it. We're rooting for you.
I wanted her in Snatch Game.
I know.
That would have been good.
I know. They do Snatch Game for sure in the UK?
They may have had the best Snatch Game ever. In the first season of UK Drag Race.
I'm gonna do a rewatch.
It's at least top 3. It's at least top 3 of Snatch Games.
I'll do a rewatch of that, or a watch of that for next week. I'll do that. I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll start
it. At least two of them, like their characters were amazing. Like, yeah. So.
CJ wants to know what's up with the COVID message. I think you answered it. I don't know if you said this before or after, but yeah, so COVID's is happening, and they're apparently going to hear about it next week and then come back in a couple months. So does that mean there's not going to be any Snatch Game? It's going to be Snatch Game from home? Because it's usually episode 5.
Hey, no spoilers.
Okay, fine. Fine. But I still love the show. I hope Junie's doing well. I hope that she's happy with her decision, because I know there's like, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that after the fact. I hope that, weren't too hard on her outside Twitter community and all that stuff, because people are kind of mean sometimes, especially like even us right now talking about quitting. Like, we don't like it, but I just hope people are still being nice to her, because,
I know she had a really good week on social media because of last week's episode. So I know there was a lot of support for her for that. I think she's really giving off the message after today's episode, from what I've seen, that haters come at her, she doesn't care. Like, I mean, she's also saying, like, she's at peace with what she did and there's no regrets and that kind of thing. So
all right, God, there's no regrets. Okay, so Phil, you were saying that you wanted to share something with me. Do you remember what this is?
I do. Are you excited?
I mean, should I be?
I am. So this is for Drag Race, right? So I'm very excited. I got something in the mail today.
Okay.
Very exciting. And I'm very excited. I got the official little pound cake doll. Little pound cake, right? So we got this. It's beautiful, the fun little box and everything. So let me take her out.
Is this your first time taking her out?
Well, I did take her out before because I had to test her out. So here she is, little pound cake. Now, of course, I'm sure fans know who she is. And this just came out just recently. So
wow, and it matches the background. It was meant to be.
And
oh my gosh.
She says a whole bunch of different things. That one was really rude. So I hope that it only blurred a little bit there. But she has a bunch.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so my friend Jessica got this for Ron and I. So really fun. So I like, I'm going to show her on the podcast tonight. We got something fun.
It's amazing. So, at the end of every episode, will you give like a new one of her new lines so we could hear what Pound Cake has to say?
Yes, I think that was the rudest one. So there you go. Did you hear it?
It said, "My name is fucking Pound Cake and I'm a motherfucking bitch." I don't know. I couldn't understand.
It was her line from the show, and it's rude, and you don't want to say it.
Okay. Here, that's what I thought it said. Like that. Amazing. So we'll have a little our final thoughts with Pound Cake at the end of each episode.
Did you like Pound Cake when she was debuted on RuPaul? Do you remember?
I kind of remember who did it first.
Alaska did it, but they were actually dolls first that they had to decorate, and they made them up, and then Alaska on All Stars did one of her 2-in-1 looks, and she she lip synced with the outfit on too. So
I remember, like, I don't remember all the moments of it, but I remember it becoming an iconic Drag Race moment.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful character.
Thanks for sharing, and thanks for having friends that know what to buy you.
Yeah.
Anything else to share that's going on that you want to share with the people? All 7? Just kidding.
All 7 of us? Oh, well, thank you, all 7.
Right now.
No, honestly, like, no, just keep watching. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about this season, who you're rooting for. Is this for Lawrence? Is Lawrence just going to win this? Is this like a clean sweep, or does another queen have a chance to pull this one off this season, or is the writing on the wall?
Is the writing on the wall? All right, that's a good note to leave us off on. I don't know if I have any.
What's our title again? What was our title for the episode? Come on.
How did I forget?
It was in the comments.
The dance, pussy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Step your kitty cat up.
Yes. Step your cat emoji up. Right. I'm putting it in. You're gonna see.
Wonderful.
Everybody, please step your cat emoji up. CJ says, I got excited to see you guys cover RuPaul UK. I watched your sequester coverage. Thank you for that. That's amazing.
Can I just ask? Because so, what did you think of the finale for Sequester? Can I ask that?
CJ?
Yeah. Both of you.
I love the whole season. I liked obviously strategy games, which you know very well. I felt as though Josh made a big mistake with taking Billy to Final Four. I think he had the opportunity and good reason to have just taken Natalie there at that moment, save Natalie, because then Natalie's going to be a little bit in debt to you in that moment. And then Billy would still most likely get to the Final Four. Or at least maybe not, like she'll have to battle back or something, like she's gonna have to do something. And if she's sitting in the Final Four, you at least would have Natalie that would be more willing to side with you. I think it was really risky for him to take Billy to the end there. And because Billy's very persuasive, she's very loving, she's very loyal, people wanted to work with her, people wanted her to be there. And it was very difficult for Natalie to turn on her. So she was in the beginning, and then Billy put her charm on, which is very fair to do. She didn't want to be the one voted out. And it was persuasive enough to make Natalie not flip her vote, go to the wheel. And Josh, he said, like, if we go to the wheel and I go out, I'm taking you, Natalie. And he stuck by that. And I appreciated him sticking by that. But I think his mistake, because I thought he was going to win the game if he took out Billy, or if Billy didn't get to the Final Four. But if Billy was in the Final Four, I thought that she was going to get to the Final Two and she was going to win. So I thought it was Josh's game to lose and Billy's game to win the whole time. And Natalie only had a shot of winning sitting beside Josh. So I don't know why she was trying to keep Billy in there. For the game purposes, I think personally, like, they had their stuff going on, whatever.
Yeah.
CJ said I rooted for Spencer and Billy, so I didn't mind the results. I think Spencer did a good job considering he got 4 votes from Billy, the jury favorite. 100%. I think he did a better job than I was giving him credit for doing in the final 2. I thought it was a little bit too long. Could be because it was 11-person jury. Each person getting 2 to 3 minutes. Like, it was just a long, like, it was a 45-minute segment in the end, just of jury questions and answers. But I definitely enjoyed the whole season, and I think that Billy was a great winner. Like, I think she deserves her win. I also, though, personally, because I consider myself a very loyal player in these games, I don't know if I would have been sold on her loyalty game, because her throwing her vote so many times also didn't save her allies. And so the fact that she wasn't willing to put her neck on the line for her allies, for me, would show disloyalty and show that she wasn't willing to stand up for me in these circumstances. So I might have voted for Spencer because he won those 4 battle backs. Yes, amazing that Billy didn't manage to not even go in any of them. So kudos, 100%. But I was not feeling as though her loyalty game was a game that I was going to be honoring if I were playing with them. Her. What do you think?
Interesting. So I did watch all the episodes. I really got into the sequester minis when they were happening, and I enjoyed watching those. I was kind of shocked by the number of people that were from the sequester minis, and not surprised that they all wanted to work together through most of the season. And so I was really rooting for the underdogs. I didn't really see Spencer as one of those people because they all seem to not want to work with Spencer. So I was impressed that he was able to get 4 votes, because I thought actually that all the sequester mini people were just going to go one way, because just of the way that they were all playing. I was impressed with Josh because he knew like nobody, and
Well, there was a sequester mini that our good friend JoJo played as Casey Becker, which was
right.
sequester. So there was a sequester mini. If you want to look back on sequesteraccess.com, I believe it will have at least a link to that evening, and so you can see a drag mini instead of just one person dressed in drag. Everybody was dressed in drag. So take a look for that if you want to see. I don't know if you are part of the sequester community and know about the minis that were going on for most of the summer. But definitely, I played in one. Phil, you played in two, I believe. We definitely have played with a lot of these people. I played with Billy's brother that she was talking about in the last episode. He actually was the one that orchestrated my demise, not going to lie. And he's also part of the class of 2020 with Rob as a podcast with me. So I have been interacting with her brother quite a little bit. But yeah, if you want to check out the Drag Me to Sequester mini, it was a good one. If I didn't see the whole thing, because like I watched many minis that summer, but it was a good one from what I saw. So you might want to take a look at that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I thought it was good. I did think that it felt long, the questions. So hopefully they can find a way to edit that down. It does. We don't need to see every single thing, I don't think, in that situation. And I kind of wish that Josh didn't make that mistake as well. I think it would have been interesting to see him or Natalie or Spencer or even Jacob, because he was kind of on his own at one point. I thought that they were all good. I thought it just felt like from the beginning all the way to the end, it was like, nobody's going after Billy. They all like Billy. Billy's going to win. It's obvious Billy's winning. Billy won. And it's like, okay.
Like, Billy's going to win unless they cut her at 5. Billy's going to win unless they cut her at 5. That was just like my thing. And they didn't, Josh didn't cut her at 5. And I think Josh lost the game because of that decision.
Yeah.
I think he would have won it.
So, it was interesting. It was interesting.
He said Spencer did well in his postseason interviews, explaining his mindset with more, which I appreciated. The thing is, though, with Spencer, I don't really enjoy hearing him talk about his game personally. So I don't know if I'll watch all of his post-game interviews. He's not, for me, super engaging, and his game, it was just kind of playing catch up the whole time. So
I felt like there were a couple episodes that I actually cringed a little bit watching, because I felt like people were making up what their strategy was just because of things that happened. Like they were like, and I don't want to name things because I don't want anybody like getting upset with me about things. But I did feel that there were certain times when people said that that was what I planned to do, and that was my plan all along, and I was like, come on, like get over it, like I don't know. It just felt silly. So
PJ says if Spencer turned his game around, or maybe a round or two earlier, he could have won. Well, yeah, he had to take a little more agency. He was just playing like, just don't vote me out. Like, oh, like, you know, he that's kind of one reason why I may have leaned to Billy if they were the final two and I was part of the game, just because he was just reacting and he wasn't really making any moves specifically. But I don't think Billy really made any moves either, because she didn't want to rustle any feathers, rock any boats, to put her vote some way, have someone mad at her, be called into battle match. She was just kind of playing like hiding, which worked, but it's not necessarily a game that I fully respect. But Spencer also didn't really make any moves and call any shots and get anybody out that he wanted to get out. So other than winning in eliminations. So, And lastly, CJ says, I still can't believe that Natalie did that and messed up Josh's plan. Oh, so frustrating. Yes, it was frustrating. Especially because she wanted to cut Billy at 6. That was her plan. Both Billy and Natalie wanted to cut each other at 6, and then we're at 4 now. So let's do it. You can't win against Billy, Natalie, no matter what. You can't do it. You can't do it. I think Billy, well, I don't know who Billy would have dragged. She probably would have dragged Natalie, and Josh would have probably won against Spencer, probably. Anyways, Natalie, that was the wrong move, I think, too. And how do you think players like Spencer, Natalie, or Josh would do on Big Brother? I I don't think Natalie would do very well because she doesn't seem to assimilate very well with people. But with having longer time to get to know people, maybe she would. But they're only there for a week, and so in her first day, she didn't become close with anybody that wanted to work with her. So if that's indicative of how she would play, I don't think she'll do well.
I will say, like, and this is for especially Natalie and Josh, they really went into this game with a huge disadvantage because, like, the number of people that knew each other and not only knew each other, but were, like, fans of each other and, like, talked to each other, like, beforehand, like, it was tough for them to get in there. I think on a show like Big Brother, if it's like a new cast and there's no things, if they can find their way to fit in, it will do. They could do really well. Josh, if he did what he did in that, he'd be in trouble with the first episode because I think people would be like, "What's this guy's story?" But you know, they could do well. Of the three, I actually think Spencer would probably be the one that would be most likely to get casted because I think he fits that archetype that they like. Right?
Wants to play the game. Yeah, and I think that he will probably be a comp beast in, you know, Big Brother type games. He probably would be able to be the cool guy and have like kind of a group of people that would work with him, especially if he's winning stuff. So I think that that order, Spencer, Natalie, Josh would be the rankings of how well I think they would do in Big Brother. I agree with you. Spencer would do the best. But I guess that's it about stuff happening this week. Thanks, CJ, for hanging out with us. I don't know what we're going to cover instead of Sequester. We've been doing the Hustler. I've been watching the Hustler, but I don't know if I want to cover it. Maybe the last few episodes. I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. What do you think, CJ? Is there any other reality shows you wanted to cover? We're trying to find if you know actually, CJ, how to find Amazing Race Australia. That did start this week, and we would love to cover it.
I forgot.
That's okay. It's probably easy for us to find now that it's aired. So, CJ, if you have any hookups for that, and CJ agrees, more time would benefit him. Yeah, more time would benefit all of them. But I think Spencer would do the best out of them all.
Cool.
That's it. Well, you know, it's got to make use of this banner. Like I'll feel like I'm paying for it. Please subscribe. We'd love you to. And if you do subscribe, just leave a comment down below and just let us know, like, hey, you should subscribe, and like we can have a little chit chat in the comments because we like to know who the people are that we're hanging out with. We definitely talk to you guys in the comments during the episode, but even if you comment on it after the episode, we are more than willing to have some, you know, discussions back and forth on our favorites, our likes or dislikes. We are not over because this podcast is over for this night. So please let us know that you subscribe right down below. Leave a comment about maybe your favorite drag queen is, or who got robbed this episode, something, and we'll have a little chit chat in the comments of this video. Ooh, CJ, thank you. You heard it's on YouTube? If it's on YouTube, then you will see us covering it as well. Right, Billy? Right, Billy?
All right.
All right. Okay, that's what we got. Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Dee. And anybody else that I might have missed, we will see you for sure next week. Bye-bye.